Hello, writer friend. This is Sharon Hughson, your writing coach, coming to you today to talk about what you should write next. So, hopefully you've got your why down. You know why you're writing. If you're still not clear on that and haven't, check out the video I talked about finding your why, and I've posted the link down below. What should you write? This is a question that haunts a lot of writers. I've had a lot of coaching clients ask me about this. Well, what should I write? Well, I have so many ideas. What should I write? So let's talk about that today. You should write what you know. I know. You've heard that overused piece of advice, and you can't believe that I just said that and that you're bothering to watch a YouTube video where I say that. But I want you to know, I'm not talking about if you're a teacher, you write characters who are teachers. And if you live in Seattle, you set all your books in Seattle. That's not the kind of write what you know I'm talking about. I'm talking about genre. So genre classifications within fiction and nonfiction have readers. They have expectations. And the genre you read is the genre you should write. So that's not to say that if you have a great idea for a self-help book, you shouldn't write one. However, before you write one, you should read many self-help books to get an idea of how they're structured, what you like about them, what you would change about them, but to get a feel for what readers of self-help books want from their book, or readers of mysteries, or readers of chick lit, okay? Whatever your genre is, that's what I'm talking about. Write the genre you know. So if you're someone who's not a big reader and you're like, what, now I have to write? Yes. Now I have to read to write? Yes. You really should read good examples of the genre you're writing in and write that genre, okay? It's what you like. You wouldn't read it if it wasn't. So why would you choose not to write something you like to read? The next thing that that might be a reason of what to write is what sells, what will sell. No, I did not just tell you to follow market trends. Oh, well, my coach says that I should write according to market trends, so I'm going to write a whatever's out there right now. I don't even know, because I don't tend to read according to market trends at all. But if you have written a bunch of sweet romance and you have a good following, keep on writing that. That is what is selling for you. So again, I'm talking genre, and you might be going, I want a specific idea. And so we'll talk about that in our next thing. But write what will sell if that's your big thing. A lot of people are writing a book because they have a story that needs to be shared, and they're not worried about if it will sell or not. So if that's not your consideration, then ignore this piece of advice. But the third thing is definitely the one that I think most writers need to learn to follow and need to hone in on. And that is to write what calls to them. What is calling to you? What I mean by that is that there's an idea that just won't leave you alone. You think about it and you might jot down a few ideas, and then the next day you get more ideas about it, and then next week you're still thinking about it and you've got ideas. But hey, I'm in the middle of this other writing project, or I don't have time to sit and write this right now. Whatever reason that you can't drop everything and write this thing that's calling to you, you need to give into it or jot down things about it. Now, what I've realized about this is that an idea that really needs to be written, a story that really needs to be told, you won't lose it. A lot of people are like, oh, I had this great idea, but I didn't write it down, so now I don't remember what it was. Your writer brain, which we will talk a lot about in these videos, because our brain as writers, and the more you use the creative side of it, the more you build those muscles, the more it will work the way that I'm going to talk about. But your writer brain will not release an idea that it says needs to be written, that it wants to write. So you're going to have to write it. Now, I've had a few ideas where it's like, okay, I'm just going to blah, 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 write out like a synopsis like thing of them. And that was enough. I could release it because I knew it wasn't a project that I wanted to do, because you also have to look at what are my strengths as a writer. If you do not have good strengths for world building, you should not write fantasy. If you do not have good character development skills, you should not write literary fiction or other character-driven genres, which might include women's fiction. It's usually very character-driven as well. So you have to know what your strengths are too. But your writer brain, if you have an idea of a story that it wants to tell, it will not let it go. It might be next year before it comes to you again and keeps bothering you. And don't worry, during all that time, while you're working on something else, doing something else, didn't have time to write, whatever, your brain was still working on that story and waiting for the time you were finally going to open the gate and say, okay, go ahead, write what you want. So I hope this helps you figure out what to write next. And if you are looking for a supportive, encouraging community of like-minded writers who are serious about it, I hope you will consider joining Write Your Book Nook. The link to it is down below. And I hope that you will subscribe to my coaching newsletter. And the link also is down below so that you can I send out encouraging words and helpful tips about every couple weeks. And they're short, sweet, and I promise not to take up too much of your time with those, just like I don't with these videos.